Hello, Tabitha. Good job in catching up. This will be some final farewell feedback, mostly for week 7, but also for week 8, the final reflection, which you turned in early. Good job. Look forward to following you as you progress. So consider connecting either in LinkedIn or Facebook, whatever your preferred social platform is. Tabitha, this looks great. I like that you have your own domain name. You've been thinking about this for a while. Your logo has evolved continuously. I think it's much refined. I like that I can see the capital A from the same letter forms here. Here's a suggestion in the future. Maybe if you haven't already, this looks slightly different than the rest of this typeface. Perhaps you could base the pyramid off the same capital A letter form from this typeface. Minor thing, it looks great though. And it takes a while for I think the viewer to get it, but then you realize that there's sort of a duality here to your logo, where you have prism in the colors of the spectrum, and then it goes to abyss, which is black. We've talked about that. I think it's really ingenious, thoughtful, and a little bit provoking. Your portfolio, it seems like you've mounted them. Is this your bootstrap template from a previous class? It's really clean. One thing I notice about these bootstrap templates, though, is that the navigation bar seems to be a little subdued. So if there's a way you could beef this up perhaps a little bit, I think it depends on the scale that you're looking at. You've been able to get all of your branding suite on here, too. I appreciate that the triangular box would have been too complicated. It had required gluing, and you didn't want that. So this doesn't require any kind of glue or messy stuff. Have you constructed one yet? Just curious. Watch your type, how close it comes to the edge here. By the time that this is trimmed, this would probably be unpractical. I would really enjoy receiving one of these things with a lucite or crystal prism, triangular shaped prism. Looks like you've got some of your other projects from previous classes on. You've got a great framework for use in the capstone class, and that's great. You've got your social media links down here, I noticed, and I haven't looked through all of them, but that's pretty complete. Just when this goes live, make sure that you have those linked. And let's see what else. Your digital resume here. This is okay. I'm thinking I'd like to see it a little bit more visual, and perhaps a little bit closer to the printed resume. That's difficult to do, but you seem to be able to manage type on the web, and that's quite an accomplishment. To be able to get away from just your default typefaces. So whatever you're doing on the web, continue to do it because you're good at it. You collected your feedback from the previous weeks nicely. I know you didn't receive perhaps as much feedback as you would have liked to have, but you mentioned something about receiving lackluster feedback, and it just makes you more determined to be thorough and extensive and meaningful in your feedback. That's a good reaction too. You certainly are not petty. This is nicely organized and just what the doctor ordered. Now, for your final reflection too, I was glad to see that you follow the rubric really well, and each of the rubric topics, you have a heading here, you've written a paragraph. That's what I suggested to other students too. If you're in doubt about how long you should write, just take each of the rubric topics, write a paragraph about them, and then proceed it with a introduction and follow it with a conclusion. So you've done that, and you've given, I think, really useful feedback to Roya. I'm glad that you were paired with her, as it was random, but I'm glad that you wound up with her because I think she needs a bit of help with the web. And so in that spirit, moving forward in the capstone class, help out those who perhaps have a smaller body of knowledge in that area. I've enjoyed your presence in class, Tabitha. I'm glad to see that you've caught up, and good going.